So I am well aware that most of you are not going to be comfortable with what we're going to be talking about. This bittersweet, beautiful, and inconvenient thing that happens to all of us, but no one wants to talk about, is not something we like to talk about. So I'm going to start you off with something we all like, which are some cute baby pictures. This is my daughter, Mabel. She is my confident, courageous, and compassionate little girl who turns 3 on the 11th. And this is my son, Ward, who I am still getting to know, but I can tell you one thing: he doesn't like school pictures. So, that bittersweet, beautiful, and inconvenient thing that happens to all of us, but no one wants to talk about: death. There are 2 universal experiences that everyone in this room, myself included, and even my children will experience. That is birth and death. We see those pictures of the beginning of life, and all of us go, "Aw." But we talk about the end of it, and all of a sudden, we stick our head in the sand. And then, when we have to think about it, because of trauma or a diagnosis, what do? More sand, please, more. But this doesn't fix anything. Oh, it didn't show up. There we go. So, we don't want to talk about it, and it's almost as if we think death is failure. And when we die, we have lost a fight. But life is not about winning. We're running a marathon. And when you run a marathon, I hate to break this to you, but unless you're Des Linden, you're not going to win the purse. So what do? We need to enjoy the ride. We need to meet people and enjoy the camaraderie. We need to check out the views and be present for the feelings. Sasha Sagan is the daughter of Carl Sagan, and she wrote an essay a couple of years ago about her talks with her father about death when she was young. And Carl Sagan is my personal hero, and the takeaway from this is that her parents believed that life was self-limited, which it is. And because there is an end to this life, her parents said, we must do great things, and we must enjoy this life, and we must be compassionate and love and live in awe of the profoundness that is this world. And my hope is that today, at the end of this, you might look at things that way a little bit too, that by accepting the fact that life is self-limited, you'll accept that it's that much more amazing. Because we don't talk about death in this world, we don't die well. The great majority of us do not want to die in the hospital. However, the great majority of us die in the hospital. In contrast, 95% of hospice care is provided in the home or the home environment. 5% in the hospital. What does that mean? That means that most of us are going to die a suffering death, and we're going to die in an ICU. It's going to cost a lot of money. We're going to have nurses who we don't know. We don't even know their names, and they're going to be touching us places we don't want to be touched. And they're going to be putting things in orifices we don't want things put into. And they're going to be doing all sorts of things, including breaking our ribs, trying to keep us alive, because that's what CPR is. But by talking about death, maybe we can make it a good death. In our own home, with our own sheets and our own smells and our own people. Maybe our children will hold our hand. Maybe our mother will be there. How profound is that? So how do we talk about death? Well, first, I want you to talk to your spouse. That's easy. I want you to talk to your children, your grown children. Tell them what you want. And I even want you to talk to your small children. Yes, your small children, because death is a part of their life, and it is our job to help them navigate it. And when your kid's dog dies, or my daughter's favorite neighbor, Mr. George, dies, you have to talk to them about it and help them navigate it. What did I do? I told her he went to heaven. What do 2-year-olds say to that? When do we get to go to heaven? So then I watched Daniel Tiger, and he has a great episode, thank you, Daniel Tiger, about when his fish died. Sesame Street does an episode about Mr. Hooper dying. Mr. Rogers, your librarians can help you find some amazing books on talking about death with your children. I want you to talk to your parents about how they want to die. I love how uncomfortable everyone looks. It's okay, guys. We're going to be okay. No one's getting out alive, all right? Talk to your best friend and your healthcare provider. Have the conversations. Well, what am I going to talk about? Well, I'll help you with that too. What is the afterlife to you? Is there one? Or is there not one? Talk about it. Talk about it with your husband, your kids, your dad, everybody. Talk about what quality of life is to you. To me, quality of life is being able to interact with and contribute to the world around me. What is your definition? What about CPR, life support? Are you frail and 90? Is CPR a good idea? Are you young and healthy? Cremation? Burial? What about organ donation? How do you feel about these things? Talk about it. Because if you don't tell people what you want, they're going to make the decision for you, and they're going to be emotional, and they're going to be making these decisions in haste, and it might not be what you want. By talking about death, my hope is that we will all die better deaths, because a peaceful death is profound, and it's beautiful, and it is the capstone of why we are here. A bad death is painful. We already talked about that. Preparing for death starts with talking about it, having these conversations. And maybe just being here today is enough for you for a month. But I encourage you to start having these conversations. I want you to do it now, when you're healthy, and when you don't have to. Okay? My advance directive is on my desk in the basement. In there, it says, do everything. Did you see those children? I have a lot of good things left to do and a lot of love. However, when the doctors say that the chance for me to interact with and contribute to my environment is slim to none, then please stop. Give me medicine to keep me pain-free. Hold my hand and tell me that I've done good work. If you need help doing an advance directive, there's free ones online. I know that Beaumont has them online. They're very easy, and there's a great website called 5 Wishes. So show up for death. Give good death. Don't be the ostrich. Talk about death and plan for death. And when someone tells you what they want, please honor their wishes, because a good death is not by your definition. It's not your party, right, Andrea? Honor their wishes. Thank you.